Did you know, or have you heard, there's going to be an eclipse tomorrow, April the 8th, 2024. This is April the 27th, 2024, and it's about 8:45, I suppose. And we're going into the sun, obviously, but the evil spirits are going to eat the sun tomorrow. So enjoy it today, or pay your taxes and work hard in your fields, because if you don't, the evil spirits are going to eat the sun and it'll be gone. Yep, they got away with that for a few thousand years, and we get away with other things today. But anyway, for those of you that are going to watch the eclipse, good luck. I hope you're in an area where it's not cloudy. I know that a lot of Texas is going to be cloudy, and there are a lot of people that traveled a long way to be in the path of the eclipse, the perfect spot, and good luck to all of you. For me, I'm here in Alamogordo, New Mexico, and we'll probably get to see it better than most people in the entire world, or we'll see a piece of it anyway. So having said that, ladies and gentlemen, moving along down this street here, this is called Munikicha Street. I'm fixing to tell you as soon as I see a sign. I can't remember these damn names. This is called Indian Wells. It goes up here. It intersects with Scenic. Well, I keep pulling up. What I'm trying to do, I've got one hand on the camera because for some reason it has a tendency to jitter, and it may affect the quality of my video. And as you know, over the years, I've always done perfect videos with perfect sound, perfect video, and gasoline is $3.27 a gallon here for regular unleaded, and $3.50 for diesel. So we're going to turn right at this stop sign and turn out of the sun, or are we going to turn left? Tell you what, let's do. Let's turn left because we want to go on a little drive. One of the things I've never done, and I hope this surprises you, but is a driving video. I rarely do a driving video, and I know that some YouTube creators do a lot of driving videos, but not me. I guarantee you, I stay away from that. So trying to figure out a way to keep this thing from jiggling. I don't know why it does. It doesn't do it in the class B or B, which I still have. And but anyway, so you guys go watch the eclipse wherever you want to watch it from. We used to, when I was a kid, we had them when I was growing up every few years, and we would get a 7-Up bottle, break it, because it was thick green glass, and we'd hold that in front of our eye to look at the eclipse. Maybe that's why my vision's impaired. I don't know. So yeah, we're going to go around this here way and get on the loop. But yeah, we're just out for a drive. I just mentioned that. I know it surprised you about the eclipse tomorrow because the news media has not covered it at all. Ha ha ha. And on we go on a beautiful day here in Alamogordo. Temperature shows to be 54 top-down degrees at 8:51 a.m. and very little, if any, wind, which is nice, always nice. And yeah, it's a nice day to take a little Sunday morning drive. Sunday morning coming down, Johnny Cash or Chris Christopherson. The smell of someone frying chicken. We used to do that when I was a kid in Kennedy, Texas, many years ago. Grew up on a farm. We had our own chickens and pigs and cattle and stuff. And we would, Mother'd say, well, go get a couple of hens and wring their necks and bring them to me, and we'll have that for lunch. She'd fry up some chicken. And she must have had some kind of magic grease, because the fried chicken was always delicious and it was always crispy. Yep. She was an excellent cook. Yeah, we'd have a few people over after church. Mother and the girls went to church, and Dad and the boys, me and my brother, would go, quote, check out the crops in the field, supposedly. But what we actually did was go to Nona's Cafe in downtown Kennedy, Texas. And my dad, I don't know if my dad drank coffee or not. He must have. But he'd sit down at a table with some old farmers and they'd talk about being too hot, too dry, whatever, too wet. And it was never perfect. It was always something. And so while they were doing that, he'd give up my brother and I some nickels, and we would play the pinball machine. Have you ever played a pinball machine? Huh? The old type that had the flippers, you know? You tried to keep the little metal ball from going in the hole, so to speak. And yeah, for a nickel, you got a few minutes of entertainment. And if you got a high enough score, you'd get a free game. And so if you got good at it, and some kids were, you could just sit there and play for free. But yeah, it was a fun thing. And also, while we were at Nona's Cafe, we would have breakfast there, even though we'd already had it at home, because Nona made good pancakes, okay? And a short stack was 2 pancakes. Yeah, and then you could get a large stack for, it wasn't, I don't think it cost much because my brother and I he got a large, always got a short stack, 2 pancakes. And as far as syrup, they only had one kind. It was that, it was the little log cabin thing that the log cabin syrup that you poured on your pancakes. And oh, it was heaven. And yeah, I'd just eat those things and thought I was a big shot, you know. So yeah, what does that have to do with anything? Nothing. What does it have to do with an eclipse? If you can put those two together, you can call me long distance collect. That's amazing. There are no long distance collect calls anymore. You know what I mean? There aren't. And no, as far as I haven't seen a payphone booth in ages, unless somebody just has one in their yard for decoration. And yeah, I can remember putting nickels and dimes in a payphone to call. And yeah, that's crazy. Yep. And the operator said, add one more dime. I don't know how they knew. I guess it was the sound. Yeah. And yeah, that's crazy. Those were interesting times, They really were. It was pretty simple, but you can see how the technology builds on itself. At first there were no phones, and then there was a phone that had no dial or anything. You picked up one end and put it to your ear and talked into the other piece, and you had to talk directly to the operator and give her the number, and then that went to I can remember doing that. Our phone number in Kennedy, Texas, when I was a kid was 503 W1, and one of my cousins was an operator. They had five operators at Southwestern Bell in Kennedy, Texas, and Patsy Sue Tucker, bless her, bless her heart. But yeah, I'd pick up the phone in town and say, Patsy, where's Mama? And she said, well, I think she's in a PTA meeting or something. That was how local it was. And yeah, it was crazy. And of course the party lines, everybody knows about that. I think we were on a 4 or 6 party line. Our ring was 2 short. Yep. And yeah, it was interesting, yeah. And then you got TouchTone. That was a big deal. We moved up to TouchTone, and then we got recorders. The phone would ring and the recorder would record the message. And I remember my sister and I got one of those for my mother for Christmas because we thought it'd be neat, because we'd call her and she wouldn't answer, and so we could leave a message. So she opened the Christmas gift and looked at it. She said, I don't want this. She was pretty straight out, you know what I mean? You didn't have to worry about where you stood, you know? Yeah. No, I don't want this. She just put it back in the box, put it on the tree. That's manners, you know? But that was life on the farm. Well, that was after the farm there, but way after the farm. And yeah, can you remember when you were in a small town, driving around in your car, if you drove downtown in a small town like we were in, population 2,500, whatever the hell it was, then you all the storefronts had big glass windows, and they'd put their sales signs and stuff on there, but they'd keep those windows really clean. So if you were driving down the street, you could see the reflection of your car in those windows. You could see how cool you looked. You know what I mean? And yeah, that was a big deal. To drive down Main Street and see your car reflection in the mirror windows of the stores. Another thing we used to do, I know I've said this before, but we used to roll the windows up so people would think we had an air-conditioned car. This was in the middle 50s. We didn't, we did, but we were willing to suffer the heat to make people think we had an air conditioner, which they didn't even notice anyway. You think people are noticing what you're doing. They're not. I mean, they don't give a shit what you're doing. Well, it depends. If it's something they'd be nosy about, get into your business, well, then that's different. But yeah, we're just cruising here. I'm reminiscing about the old times, and it started off with the eclipse, which is coming tomorrow, April the 8th, 2024. Here, I think it's around 1:30 p.m. or so. And will I watch it? Sure, I'll go stand out there with my little head stuck up in the sky like a bird. No, I won't either. I'll be taking a nap probably, But yeah, we're cruising. This is a little outer loop around Alamogordo, New Mexico. And it's quite nice to cruise here because there's not a whole lot of traffic. During the week there might be, I'm not sure. And I finally have learned how to do the cruise control. I keep pulling the phone up, but the reason I'm doing that, I'm trying to keep it jiggling, you know what I mean? So what else can I tell you about the old days in Kennedy, Texas? Well, I can remember when cars didn't have blinker lights. I can remember when the starter was on the floorboard by the accelerator pedal, and you had to kind of push them both at the same time. We had a 49 Dodge pickup that had that 3-speed standard on the floor, and and I had to put 2 pillows under me so I could see over the steering wheel and see out the windshield, because I would actually drive into town and get feed for the hogs and stuff from the feed store in that pickup when I was, I don't know, 9 or 10 years old. Yeah. Did the city police ever say anything? No. No, we only had one. He was also the chief of police. Yeah. And we had a night watchman. Yep. And the night watchman used to check to be sure he'd walk the front street and and then check all the front doors of the businesses, and then he'd go in the alleys and check the back doors. He did that. He sure did. So but he wasn't a policeman though. He could say he was going to tell your dad if y'all didn't cut it out, and we did, because the wrath of God would be upon us. Back then, dads were pretty damn tough. My dad was hell, man. You sure didn't want to screw up with him. And what else? We had a sheriff named Harper Morris. He was one of the old time sheriffs. He was about 5'3", and he wore 2 .44 caliber pistols with pearl handles. Yep. And he'd use them too. He did. I think he ended up killing 6 people while he was in office. But you didn't jack with him. If he told you to shut up, you better shut up. But enough said about that, guys. That's just a little reminiscing and current events mixed together. Current events being the eclipse tomorrow for you guys who want to watch that. And the rest of the story was me in Kennedy, Texas in 1950s. I graduated from high school in 1963. And those were the good old days. That's when the Beatles were playing, and all those hippie type bands were making a lot of good music, and I was enjoying the hell out of it. But anyway, guys, from Alamogordo, thumbs up, carpe diem, adios, bye-bye, buy anything you want, use the Amazon link, drink plenty of water, stretch, walk, stand guard at the door of your mind, and enjoy your life the best way you can. Sunday morning coming down. Adios, amigos. Bye-bye.